Madam Chair, the complaint alleges that the respondent declared that she had arranged for a person to kill the President, the First Lady, and the Speaker if she herself were killed. The complaint alleges a public statement, but it does not allege the existence of an actual agreement to kill. There is not even an overt act in furtherance of such agreement. Any act constituting conspiracy or attempted or any act constituting conspiracy or attempted murder. Kasi yung alleged gunman, hindi man lang natin na-present. Now, let's go to the doctrine of free speech, which guarantees free speech and free press do not permit a state to forbid or prescribe the advocacy of the use of force or of law violation except where such advocacy is directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Advocacy of violence or law-breaking is protected unless it is directed at inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to produce such action. That was stated in Salonga versus Cruz Paño, 134 SCRA 438. Now, kung makikita rin natin doon sa statement ni, doon sa video, and I'm glad that it was flashed on screen, which, kasi, in fact, dapat nga hindi, because it would be premature. As I mentioned, the video is not part of the complaint, but okay lang na ipakita natin dyan because it brings back yung ano natin, yung pag-aalala sa mga yan. The VP said that she hired someone to kill. If she herself was killed, lo and behold, they are both alive. So ibig sabihin, walang overt action which was done. You know, sometimes when I go home late, my wife always threatens to kill me. Sabi sa akin ng asawa ko, papatayin kita na eh. Umaga ka na naman umuwi. And you know, my wife is the queen of our home, ha? And she is highly respected by everyone in our household. But you know, I am still alive. And my wife only kills me with love. Common sense dictates that if you are really serious in killing someone, you do not announce it to the whole world. Why would you announce that you will kill someone if you really intend to kill someone? Common sense dictates otherwise. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Honorable
Madam Chair.
Abante.
With due respect to Congressman Suntay, I do not know if he is lawyering with for the Vice President because I would even think that he is right now defending her. Pero ito you have seen the video. Whether it be that he is joking, that's between him, between her, diba? Thing is this, that amounts to a credible threat against the President, the First Lady, and the Speaker. That is not political noise, just like what he's saying about his wife. What he's saying about his wife is only political noise.
No, but my wife
But
is
that
not a
is not
politician.
political noise, Madam Chair. That is a red flag for national stability and constitutional order. Why? The Vice President is not a private citizen. The wife of Congressman Suntay is a private citizen, but not the Vice President. The office of the Vice President carries access, influence, and security resources. That is why the standard for public trust is higher, not lower. Madam Chair, thank you very much.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable Adjong.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And then Honorable Degamo.
Very, very short manifestation regarding the video. The whole nation was aware of this video, actually, Madam Chair. It came out during a press conference that the Vice President called for when Attorney Zulaika was in detention in the House of Representatives. My take on that, Madam Chair, is you can argue on whether a crime is being consummated or not, because some say that it has not been fully implemented, and so therefore the crime is not committed itself. To me, Madam Chair, I know how a layman would understand that is, it does not take one particular threat to be consummated, meaning to be implemented, for it to constitute a betrayal of public trust. The mere fact, Madam Chair, that it was uttered by a sitting vice president to threaten a sitting president and claim that she had contracted an assassin to do her bidding is in itself an impeachable act. It's in itself a betrayal of public trust, Madam Chair. So whether or not it was said in jest, whether or not there was an intention, because it's conditional according to some, whether there was not really an intention, except, for example, that she herself was killed. So that's irrelevant to me, Madam Chair, because the fact that it was said, the threat was said by an official who needs to uphold a high standard of, the demand of her office should be upheld in such a high standard, would to me fall under the category of a betrayal of public trust. That is my humble submission, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, on the issue of the video that just flashed, it's played on the monitor, Madam Chair, Your Honors. Thank you. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Adjong. At this juncture, we recognize the Honorable Degamo.
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to speak from a personal experience. My husband, the late Governor Degamo, before he was murdered. By the way, we will be remembering his 3rd death anniversary tomorrow. That's March 4. He received threats before he was tragically murdered. The threats at first were conditional. Like, if you do this, something will happen. But then, even though they were conditional, the fear and intimidation they caused were very real. Conditional threats can turn into actual harm. Nangyari po yun sa amin. In the same way, when the VP reportedly made statements implying harm to the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker, those statements are serious, even if phrased as conditional. Kasi words from someone in her position carry weight. It can intimidate other officials, it can influence decision, and even undermine public trust. That is why, in impeachment terms, such conditional threats are considered sufficient in substance. It's not just the wording that matters. It's the effect and potential for harm, especially when the speaker holds high office. Just as in my family's experience, conditional threats really must be taken seriously. Gusto ko lang pong idagdag. The legal connection there talks about a threat does not have to be absolute or immediate to be serious. What matters is its potential impact, especially if the speaker holds power. Conditional threats can intimidate or coerce. Even a statement that starts with "if" can pressure officials or institutions to act a certain way. And high office makes it more serious. Maybe words from ordinary people may be limited in effect, but threats from a person who is holding a national leadership post carry far-reaching consequences. Kaya nga po, public office demands higher standards of behavior. Yun yung nire-require sa atin. Dahil if wrongly handled, and I must admit, my husband must have wrongly handled the situation back then that resulted now to his 3rd year anniversary, still waiting for justice to be served. Yan lang po, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Digamo. Next in line is Madam Endorser. Can we finish first the manifestations of the justice members before we go back to you?
Yes, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Chua.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, let me borrow the words of the late Justice Cruz, Justice Isagani Cruz, when he defined impeachment as a method of national inquest into the conduct of public men. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, ang tinitignan po dito ay yung mga taong nasa taas ng lipunan kung paano nila paglabas ng behavior sa publiko. Ang hinuhusgahan po dito sa impeachment ay yung kanila pong conduct. Obviously, napanood po natin, hindi po ito yung conduct na inaasahan po natin sa isang tao na may pangalawa sa pinakamataas na posisyon sa ating lipunan. Yung video po, ang tinatawag po natin, res ipsa loquitur. The video speaks for itself. Hindi na po natin kailangan magpahaba. Hindi po ito usapin ng kriminal para tignan po natin ang elemento ng threat. Ang tinitignan po dito po sa pinakita sa atin, yung conduct ba na pinakita niya ay binetray niya yung public trust? Ito ba yung conduct na inaasahan natin sa isang tao na mataas ang katungkulan sa lipunan? Pag sinagot po ninyo ko na ito po yung conduct, maaari ko pong sabihin na wala nga po talagang substance. That's all, Madam Chair.
Let us be reminded that in various discussions of impeachment process, we try to determine the fitness of the public official to hold public office. That is for the record. Any other member who wish to manifest? You would like to add, Honorable Digamo.
Yes, Madam Chair. And if I may add, itong grounds po na ito, we are not just dealing here with the VP. No? Ang ibig ko pong sabihin, kahit sino po, pwede naman pong ang source of threat is the President. Source of threat could be the Speaker, directed to the VP, the President, directed to the VP. Pwedeng it could be directed to any other public official. Pero yun po yung nakikita natin na hindi talaga dapat binabaliwala para wag naman pong matulad sa amin. So it's not about personalities. It is about the actuations na ginawa at dapat may managot. Thank you po.
Thank you. Next is the Honorable Vice Chair Dumogan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't like to repeat what had already been said, but looking at the allegations in ground number 4, including the video that we had just watched, at this stage of determining sufficiency in form, it has already comply. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Dumogan. We will now go back to the endorser of the impeachment complaint, the Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To just be brief, yes, res ipsa loquitur. The video says it all. Res ipsa, the thing speaks for itself. The video itself speaks for what we are alleging as impeachable offenses. No joke, no joke. Then there's no issue anymore as to whether it was meant to be a joke. Because it's the VP herself who says, no joke, no joke. So wala na pong question dyan. Hindi na po natin kailangan i-prove na yun ay joke because it came from her,
That it is not a joke.
from her own language. It's admission against interest. There is also no such thing as conditional threat. A threat is a threat, irrespective of whether or not there is such a condition, katulad nung binanggit ng VP, na kung mamatay daw siya, it doesn't erase the fact that she made a threat. So there is no such thing as conditional threat. It's also a non-issue. Now, we saw also the video. It has been widely covered even by foreign media. What other country, or is there any other country where we have seen such an incident of the second highest official of the land, a very high official of the land, making such a very open and public and brazen act of threatening the president and the two others? So, malinaw po itong ground na ito. Isa po ito sa tingin ko ang pinaka-malakas na magiging basis ng impeachment. Thank you.
That concludes our deliberation on the fourth impeachment complaint.